Yo.
Happy Monday.
Happy fucking Monday indeed. What are we talking about tonight? Cereal beer. Why are we talking about cereal beer?
Because it's episode 89, and everybody knows that the number 89 corresponds with breakfast cereal. If you don't know why, Google it. I'm sure it'll pop up. That's your challenge.
You're sending me off to Google, Brian.
Yeah, I got to do that.
If you find something, let me know. Now, we just brewed a bunch of cereal beer. So tonight, I guess we're going to be talking about our experiences brewing with cereal, with breakfast cereal, not cereal mashes, and we'll kind of see where the evening brings us beyond that. So for those listening who aren't watching later on, we got Jason with us. It's me, Brian. Hi. I'm the Brian. It's me. We got Jordan. We got Ron. Did I already introduce David? David just popped on.
Hello.
David Jones. So, bunch of Keepers people here tonight. So, why did we brew a breakfast cereal?
Well, because we have the craft brew week coming up.
So what's going on with that, David? You just popped in. I'm dropping the questions on you already. We didn't even know this mic works yet.
He's gonna pretend he can't hear us.
Yeah, Ron was busy answering for me, so.
So craft beer week. What's going on with craft beer week, and why breakfast cereal beer?
Right. So this coming January, the 13th through 21st, is craft beer week.
So
craft beverage week.
Craft beverage week for Kalamazoo. And as part of that, part of the festivities there, one of the local breweries, Final Gravity, invited some of the homebrew clubs out to brew. I think we got a total of 6 beers, right? Brewed with cereal. Or cereal in some form based on cereal, brewed with cereal, whatever. And the Saturday of Craft Beverage Week, which I'm trying to figure that out right now. We're gonna
14th.
We're gonna put our beers on tap.
It's the 14th.
The 6 cereal beers, and have a little competition where the club or general public gets to drink the beers and pick the one they like the best. Basically vote with their dollars, and I think we're going to try to set it up to go to a good cause.
Details to come.
Yeah. So I'm going to post the link to the Discover Kalamazoo Craft Beverage Week site, throw that up there. So keep an eye on that. Usually in the next few weeks, you'll see a bunch of events start populating as they start finalizing the schedule. You can also follow them on Facebook and get that information. We've had them on the show a couple of times in the past before beer weeks or beverage weeks. So yeah, they got a cool countdown timer. So 31 days, 15 hours, kicks off Kalamazoo, the 13th Kalamazoo Craft Beverage Week.
Hell yeah!
I didn't even see that. That's sweet.
You know, I think we missed something.
It used.
Oh, go ahead, David. I was off topic.
No, I was about to say that the Craft Beverage Week used to be Kalamazoo Beer Week, but then they expanded it to include craft beverages, so obviously other fermented adult beverages.
We've got wineries in town now. We have a meadery. We've got distilleries. So
yeah,
let's celebrate everyone.
To be more inclusive for everyone. Yep.
It's because COVID happened and everybody started drinking a whole lot more. And the festival came out of COVID and was like, look, we got to include, while we were away, we got to know liquor and wine real well. So,
it's wild. I don't think we as a generation drink as much as generations previous to us. Thought I heard that somewhere.
Is that a post-COVID theory or?
No, like even. Maybe it is post-COVID, but I thought I remember hearing somewhere like it used to be almost like a fifth of alcohol of like spirits per week, damn near, for every adult that drank.
Because I really feel like the year of COVID, I did a lot of catching up. So
Speaking,
progress for the generation.
Yeah, I think I know where
Really
you're going,
bumped up
Jordan.
your GPA.
Well, let's find out.
Say,
So
Jordan, go for it.
I was just gonna say, we usually open up with what's in the glass. What are we all drinking?
How dare us?
Yeah. So I guess I'll start first. I don't have. I was in a hurry to get down here. I finished dinner seriously like probably 8 minutes ago. It being 7:37 right now. I'm drinking just New Holland tangerine space machine. So that's what I'm starting with. I'll probably move over to a cider later.
Nice. Yeah, when you first held that up, it looked like a block of cheese.
I'm drinking Velveeta.
I guess I'm next to you. I'm drinking Party Guy, which is the small beer on my Partaguiled rye wine.
I really liked that beer.
It's like
Right.
an ESB-ish sort of beer. Thanks. So I'm trying to keep some for comps, and then I'm drinking the rest because, damn it, it's supposed to be drink.
I'm going down with Bell's Double Cream.
Ooh, I haven't had one of those in years.
We ate dinner at Bell's a few weeks ago, and they had the BBA version of Double Cream on. That wasn't as good as I had hoped it would be, and so it made me get a regular Double Cream to like side by side them, and then it just reminded me of how good that beer was and how I liked it. So I've switched off of hams temporarily for Double Cream.
I was just there Saturday, Jason. I saw that BBA Double Cream, and I was debating on it, but I didn't end up going for it. So good to know.
I would say I don't know if it was just I saw they had it in bottles. I don't know if it was what they had on tap or if the bottles were different, but it just felt thinner and like watery and maybe a little oxidized.
Ah, okay.
Which you can get out of barrels, but it just Double Cream on its own is just such a good, rich, creamy stout. And I was bummed.
Did they have the what was it? I had something that I really liked while I was there. I think they just called it Golden Ale. It was just like Golden Ale that was made with Moscato grapes.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried that. That was a little tart for me.
I thought it was great, but then again, I had a flight sitting in front of me, and maybe
Yeah.
it was just comparisons. But
Yeah, I don't think I could have drank a whole pint of that. Just really puckering.
Yeah. What are you drinking, Ron?
I'm drinking fire and ice cider mixed. It's a
Both
little
yours,
boozier.
right?
Yeah, a little boozier than I intended. It came out 16%,
Oh,
which I didn't even think Nottingham would go that high, but that's what it measured out at.
here we are.
How big's that pour?
Oh, that's a full pint. Oh,
Yeah.
I work from home. As long as I can turn the computer on at 8:00 tomorrow, I'm good to go.
Welcome to Monday, Ron.
how about you, David?
I'm drinking one of Joanne's birthday beers. It's Sweetwater G13 IPA. It's an IPA. It's drinkable.
Sweetwater,
It's-
the brewery.
I went. It's Sweetwater from down in Atlanta. So I went to see if we had any cereal beers in the fridge, but we didn't. So I pulled out an IPA instead.
Good stuff.
So I guess speaking of cereal bears, I wasn't there. I wasn't able to, go join you guys. What do we do? Can we talk about it, or is this
I think
kind of like
so.
hush hush until people start drinking it?
Everything's been brewed now, so
So there were 3 clubs that participated. I don't know if we mentioned that earlier. So
Yeah.
it was Keepers of Craft and Club out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, and then it was the Hop to It homebrew club, or sort of remnants of the Hop to It homebrew club, but that was more out of like the Decatur area. Is that right?
yep,
Okay.
yep, that's right.
So who brewed for Hop 2 at then? Do you know what they brewed, David?
So Tim and I brewed the Woo Girl. Hang on. We went really gimmicky with it, so I have to try to remember all of the gimmicky things. It's a pumpkin spice latte white stout.
Brewed with
So
what cereal?
pumpkin spice Cheerios
Mm-hmm.
that I found in Aldi. So, and then the guys down at the Scheidel hop farm, they brewed an IPA because they're hop guys, and I think Jason might need to put his fingers in his ears for this bit, but I think they were choosing to use Fruit Loops. I believe we're going to see if we can try to get them to pivot to something like Fruity Pebbles so that they don't step on Jason's toes.
Yeah, I mean,
All I know
it
that Klob did was, sorry.
I was going to say they're two totally separate beers, though. I mean, theirs is an IPA. Mine's going to be the Berliner Weiss Sour, so it'll be fine either way.
Sweet.
And I know that one of the Klob beers was a strawberry banana Hefeweizen with some strawberry banana cereal in it. I don't recall exactly what it was that they used, but as for the second Klob beer, I don't have that information.
Okay, it'll be a surprise for everyone. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a cereal that has strawberries and bananas, and
Tim did tell me.
I think Cheerios has a strawberry banana flavor.
Oh, Andrew, I was thinking something kind of like what was that blueberry beer? Like Blueberry Morning, where it's got like dried bananas and strawberries just in it. But
Cheerios
I don't
does
know.
have a strawberry banana.
okay.
Oh,
But you know what Cheerios doesn't have? It's, red velvet.
Apparently, nobody has red velvet. Apparently, that's not a thing.
until somebody from the Cheerios company watches this, and
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna snake your idea, Jason. Red Velvet Cheerios. That sounds pretty good.
Oh, no, it was Brian. Brian and Shayna actually convinced, I think, me and other people that red velvet Cheerios was a thing and it existed, and that they were going to base their beer on red velvet Cheerios. And Shayna, yeah, she dreamed it.
So we Googled very hard. We were on Cheerios website. We were on Aldi's website. We can't even find a picture of like what the box would look like. It's not a thing. So
I just want to know. I want to know what you were drinking that night.
Well, what did we think? There was another. We think it might have been. She saw Red Velvet Pop Tarts, and thought Cheerios, because I think Red Velvet Pop Tarts were an Aldi thing, or maybe they're a regular thing. I don't know, but we're going with it anyway. So we used chocolate Cheerios, and mashed with a box of those. We may, dry cereal. After fermentation, we're going to do some cacao and some vanilla, and the base. I think once it clears up, it'll be red. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. We didn't really take into consideration. I didn't take into consideration the color that the cereal would impart. The darkness or the dye. But if it is dye, it might just drop out too. So we'll see.
It was red adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
It still looked better than Jason's mash.
Oh, I mean, when I make Looper, Looper looks like fucking dirty dishwater for sure. On the front end, but man, it comes out pretty and light straw colored. It'll be good.
Gerald was telling me I was a little bit quiet in chat earlier. Do I sound a little bit better? I cranked myself just a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds a little more consistent now.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. So this isn't the first
So
time
then,
that we've brewed with cereal
what's the
either.
first cereal beer that we? I think we were about to go to the same place then, Brian.
Okay, go for it. Go for it, David.
So the first cereal beer that we did, that was the keepers competition, wasn't it?
It was.
Yep.
That was basically the competition that Looper came from.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was what, 5 years ago? I think we did.
Something
I
like that.
think so.
Yeah, 5 years ago we did the Keepers Club, the competition where everybody brewed with a cereal. I actually think we had a good turnout on that one, like
There was a lot.
more than a dozen entries. I think maybe even closer to 18 or 19.
I remember there because we had two tables. That was held at
Mhm.
back at One Well, and there were like entries on the bar even.
And it was funny back then. I think I remember, David, you were saying like we found some articles or something, and it was basically like you Google like how to brew a cereal beer, and I think the resounding answer was don't.
So naturally, what do
Right.
we do?
But I still have to say, like, there were a lot of good cereal beers that came out of that. I mean, Drew's Graffle Jacks stands out as like one of my favorites. Of course, Looper's done well for me, and I think has always been a solid beer. And now I'm drawing a blank. I don't even remember what you did, Brian, but it was fun. I know there were some good Cocoa Puff beers. I think McClellan had a good peanut butter stout made with one of the peanut butter cereals. So,
Brian, wasn't yours with like bran flakes or something?
Yeah, it was a Belgian dark strong ale with raisin bran.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. I remember that.
Shannon
I
and I
liked that beer.
painstakingly picked through every single raisin we picked out of the box of cereal, so that I could mash with the bran and then add the raisins in. Like, I don't remember if it was at the end of the boil or what.
You know, total is just raisin bran without the raisins, right?
I needed the
We'll do the
raisins.
same
I mean,
round.
it's a Belgian dark strong ale, right? You gotta have the raisins. Absolutely.
but no, so this ought to be it ought to be a cool competition. We're going to have, of course, the Berliner Weiss. We'll have a couple of variations of stouts, an IPA, and then that mystery beer that we don't know the other one that Cloud's going to make. And I think what we're trying to do is line it up so that the local animal rescue that David and his wife support, ARP, we're going to try to set up a donation for them, so that every flight that you buy at Kalamazoo Beer Week should get a vote. But maybe hopefully we can set up something where you can buy additional votes, and that money will go to ARP. And then you can vote or buy the winner. It's open to the public, so I think we're already placing bets that the pumpkin spice beer is going to reign supreme, just because it's what our generation, the people that are alive right now, tend to flock to. But yeah.
Yeah, but, shout out to Kevin too. I mean, he hosted us all weekend. We're down at Final Gravity and opened his doors to us and fed us, gave us booze.
So I think the majority of these beers. I mean, if we talk about how we make cereal beers, of course, when I make Looper, I mashed with it, and I think with these 6, I believe more than half of them mashed with it, but a couple are gonna the other Looper beer or the other Fruit Loop beer or whatever is gonna dry hop with it. And then David, you did both, right? You mashed and you're gonna dry hop, or late edition, whatever.
Yeah. We had 3 boxes, so we put 2 in the mash, and we're going to throw 1 in, kind of towards the end of primary, beginning of secondary, whatever it is, so that it'll still have that kind of fresh pumpkin spice, even probably a wee bit of the Cheerio flavor in there as well. Although
I think there's
that
a lot
Cheerio
of
flavor, if we put it in.
Yeah, There's
Sorry,
a lot of talk
I've got a
or
terrible delay
debate
here.
on if mashing with it, kind of cooks out the flavor, or what do you get from it, if it's in the mash versus the boil versus later. So I think it's going to be interesting to see the ones that were mashed and then versus dry hopped, and see how the flavors come out. I can say, like, from Looper's perspective, it doesn't really taste like Fruit Loops. It's just a gimmick.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Yeah, I read an article. I read an article from some brewers, and they said that if you want to have your beers truly taste of the cereal, then you should be dry hopping with it, or dry
secondary,
cerealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Brian?
Oh, I was just going to say it's going to be interesting to see whether people prefer the beers that taste more maybe like beer, or the ones that taste more like the cereal, or if there is a preference there. I'm sure we'll be wandering around and gathering people's feedback and stuff like that too. Just people talk about their beers and see how many people come back for seconds of a particular one. Or, well, I guess we won't be doing individual pours.
Yeah, we're only gonna have 120 some flights
Yeah.
altogether. So
I wonder if we should have something just like comment cards sat out or something too, or maybe your vote.
vote with your dollars, man.
Card. I don't know. They'll be out on Untappd or something too, probably. I'm sure somebody will make them.
Oh yeah.
So, Jason, you brewed with cereal more than anybody else, probably by a good margin. Probably in the entire United States would be my wager, if I had to wager.
He's on first name basis with Kellogg's.
Yeah, just buys in bulk. What do you have like challenges? That you have to like deal with when brewing with cereal, like stuck mashes, or like how do you predict like what the gravity is going to be from like the sugar contributions, like things like that?
So I've never really had an issue with the stuck mashes, and they do, the cereal does kind of break down and get gummy. Definitely a slower drain yesterday, but not stuck by any means. But I think what you talked about with calculating or planning on your original gravity, it's really difficult to do. I mean, you can try to figure out how much sugar is in that box of cereal, but I think you can't really. It's just not a straight calculation to kind of try to figure out what bricks you're going to get out at the end. I have brewed with Looper enough, or Fruit Loops enough, that I know with the amount of grain that I should have, or what my OG or OG I should be hitting. But really, I think the most interesting thing, for me with Fruit Loops is just watching, like we talked about, and like I think we took some pictures of it yesterday, is just watching that transformation. If I was brewing a regular beer and it came out gray, green, dirty, murky stuff, I'd probably freak out and dump it out. And then it just kind of, as the process goes along, watching the different dyes and stuff fall out and crash out, and kind of come out to make a nice clean beer. I can tell you other things that I've heard about in other cereals, and like Patrick Young in our club, he talked about kind of skimming the oils off. A lot of the cereals out there, especially if you're using one that has marshmallows or different kinds of like fattier makeups, you're going to have that kind of oil fat content of your beer is going to be higher than what we would normally expect, and that really can affect your head retention and kind of the stability of the beer. So it was I think Patrick talked about skimming fat off the top. I don't know, Cheerios seems like it probably has a pretty low oil content, so I don't think you guys probably had or saw much of a fat skim yesterday, but just think that's something to kind of keep in mind when you're playing with cereal. Is, like Brian said, what's that going to do to your sugar? What's it going to do to the final appearance of your beer? If you're adding it into secondary. It scares me to think about what would happen if I put Fruit Loops in secondary with Fruit Loop or with Looper. Am I going to go back to the gray, dirty dishwater in the glass?
You should try it sometime, man. Just see what happens. Like,
Right?
You couldn't get that past your lips. It looks like paper mache. It's just disgusting looking.
I mean, but it would drop out again though, probably, right?
maybe,
Probably.
I
probably.
don't know.
Yeah, but the first couple of pulls from that keg would be interesting because you'd just be pulling multicolored sludge.
I don't know, or is it the fact that he's heating it because he's mashing with it? And is it the heat that's coagulating
Yeah.
the dye and the coloring?
Okay. Yeah.
Who knows? I think you should try it, Jason. Just YOLO it.
Or
All right.
just pour some
Sounds
beer. Just pour some beer over a bowl of Fruit Loops.
Actually,
breakfast,
just sit down with a bowl of Fruit Loops and fucking pour a bottle of Looper over top of it and just eat it with a spoon. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different things though to take into account when you're playing with cereal and how you treat it. And I think that's why I think the general consensus out there in the world was to not brew with it, just because you're going to get people that put in too much fat or maybe dry hop with Fruity Pebbles late and it comes out looking like shit. So I just think it's your process. I think you got to be extra careful with how you handle the beer, how you work through fermentation and packaging and crashing. I think cold crashing is probably the most important thing for cereal beer.
Are we going to be able to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Kevin mentioned yesterday that we could put them in the bright tank before kegging them.
Oh, is that how we're going to do it?
He said that's something that we could do if we so chose.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
I wonder if we could just set the bucket in their walk-in.
It's probably easier.
That'd work.
That would be simpler. Yes.
Can he keg carb these? Because they're going into like sixtels, right? Is that something that they can still do?
I would assume so.
I guess we'll find out.
I haven't thought that far forward.
Here's hoping Kevin's thought about that. Beer's got to be drinkable in 31 days.
It's going to be cereal wine or something, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Flat flight.
Yeah. Speaking of oil and stuff, I will say I let my beer sit to sort of like drop out and clear for maybe about 30 minutes or so before sticking it into the fermenter. And when I went to eventually get it into the fermenter, there was for sure like a nice little sheen on top, and like you could sort of like separate like a little layer on the top off.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was super appetizing looking. So I really wonder what the head retention like on all these beers is going to look like. We'll see. Looper has always been pretty good, right? I mean, for being a kettle sour on top of a cereal beer.
It is. I mean, and I was thinking about that as you were saying it. And I don't know, when I look at it after I brew it and kind of how it separates and striates and it's in the fermenter. I don't know if it's because it's a heavy wheat based beer and maybe the wheat forms those kind of long strain proteins in your wort that settle out. Maybe that captures more of it. I'm really just pulling shit out of my ass right now, but it's never had an issue with head retention. I've never really seen oil floating, or Fruit Loops is just a really low oil beer or has a low fat content.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is. It makes the most amazing traditional Berliner Weiss. I don't know how. I don't know how Germans made traditional Berliner Weisses without Fruit Loops.
You stumbled across their secret.
I did.
It's
how many times, how many different judges have written classic example of style on my source sheets, and every time it makes me smile. I've never disclosed that it had Fruit Loops in the cereal, and I don't think I ever will. I think it was Gail Milburn actually that a couple years ago on one of the shows we were talking about it, and I think she said next time I see you putting a Berliner Weiss or something in the comp, I'm going to know it's got cereal in it or whatever. And I'm like,
But at the same time though, like it's not the Fruit Loops isn't perceptible in the finished product. So like it feels kind of like you came across a weird way of finding your beer.
Of cheating. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's like I know, like, Brian brewed with chocolate Cheerios, and you're gonna, we smelled it. You're gonna get that. You're gonna add, cocoa nibs and vanilla. So you're gonna accentuate, and you're gonna bring that through. And I really do feel like you're gonna carry that chocolate Cheerio vibe through. The same thing with the pumpkin spice latte Cheerios. Especially by dry hopping with it, you're gonna very much get that flavor. With Looper, I'm cheating. There's no. I mean, so originally, if you go back to the original competition that we did 5 years ago, to keep with the spirit of it, I did make a simple syrup out of Fruit Loops. I took another box of Fruit Loops, I boiled them, I strained them, and boiled that down into a syrup, because traditionally a Berliner Weiss is served with a syrup, Woodruff, raspberry, whatever it is. And I brought that to serve with the Berliner Weiss when we judged, and that really does add a really neat Fruit Loop flavor, and it's really cool to do. But you can't do that for competitions, and I don't even know if. I mean, I'm sure the Final Gravity guys probably wouldn't bat an eye if I walked in with a bottle of weird syrup, but I don't know.
But then we'd all then it goes from being a beer competition to like a beer and pairing.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I'd have to bring I'd have to go to Sweetwater, get more like red velvet donuts or something.
Right.
What's David gonna walk in with, like Starbucks? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. Playing with the cereals and doing different fun things. It was the first weird club competition I think we did as keepers.
You
I think so, because I saw an article in a newspaper where they were talking about a way. Basically said, is it possible to make a beer out of expired? I can't remember what sugar puffs are called over it. Honey Smacks. So they said that they had a couple of old boxes of Honey Smacks in their cupboard that had basically turned into a brick. So they basically broke the brick up into the component smacks, and just added some dry malt extracts and just brewed that beer. And I just thought to myself, that sounds like the most preposterous use of a box of expired Honey Smacks I've ever heard of. And then suddenly thought, fuck it, we're doing a cereal beer competition for shits and giggles. And here we are.
Yep. And it's gone on to spawn, we try to do fun beer competitions at Keepers, and I know we tried doing. We've talked about some failed ones, like where the Iron Brew, where we do random ingredients and stuff and that shit. But we did. This did lead us to cereal. I'm sorry, from cereal to cookie, and I'd say the same thing again. Cookie beer competition turned out a couple of really good, cookie beers. Of course, I think Ron, you won with your Girl Scout
peanut butter cookies.
Yep.
But a couple other really good formulas recipes came out of that. In fact, our gang brew was one of those.
The lemon cookie.
The lemon cookies.
Yeah.
Which was second or third?
I think so. I think we went with a lemon cookie for gang brew because it fit the requirements.
Right.
But I was talking to Mike Lightfoot the other day. His recipe from that is what he's entering in Bell's this year.
Oh,
that's
the
cool.
the
The
gingerbread.
ginger snaps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that sounds like it would be good.
With that beer, you can taste like the ginger snaps in it. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like powdered ginger. It tastes like cookie.
Tasted like cookies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it it takes us out of the normal, and we've done some good stuff with it. The Iron Chef was not necessarily a success. I think we all agree on that one. But the beer generator was really good. The year we did that,
Yeah.
got some good recipes out of that.
I can't recall what I had for that.
I
might
found
be
the.
able to look it up.
I actually found the odds from the draft we did a couple of years ago. I was in the basement the other day and thought, what's these big rolls of paper? No, I still have those sheets.
Was that
That's really sweet.
was that the rhubarb beer I had to brew? I can't recall.
I ended up with a dark macro brew, and I forget what the other ingredient was. There's something else I had to put in it, but it came out. It was a decent beer. It was
I think that was
Something
the
I probably
rhubarb one
wouldn't
was
have-
the beer generator. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
beer
think-
generator. I'm bummed I missed on that one. I forget what life was happening, and I missed out on beer generator and draft. I think I was traveling a lot for work.
I did the draft. Those are like the only two that I have done, Jason. So we're like inverse here. That's
Well, I know we got a really cool one that we're talking about for the next year that I can't actually remember right now. Patrick Young had a really awesome idea. I've talked to him about it twice, and I'm totally fucking blank on it. But yeah, and then I think we're talking about maybe even doing some kind of sidebar competition with something fun for Michigan Homebrew Fest, but we got to figure that out in the next few months.
How many days away is that, Jason?
What's that?
Yeah, we
Well,
gotta get a
I'm-
counter up.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm surprised you don't have a countdown clock going.
I am.
I mean, it's easy. It's December. I mean, come on, it's 9 months away. But yeah, what else? What else have we done recently?
Do we have any tips for other clubs that would want to run these sort of competitions, like in terms of like how we vote or organize it, or to determine who can?
We
brew
recently
what? Like people
updated the
using
way that we did our
Samsara.
voting, right?
It depends.
Yeah.
Depends on the comp. So like Keeper's Cup, obviously we have judges, but the fun competitions we just do amongst ourselves.
Yeah,
So
fun-
last couple have been everybody gets a first and a second place vote, picks their number one and number two, and aggregate score wins it.
Yeah, fun competitions are. It's hard to do BJCP, and you want to do them faster, I think the big tips for that, fun comps are usually done with like a People's Choice Award. I think what we learned the most and what's become most important for us, if other clubs are going to do some kind of fun People's Choice comp, is to try to make it as anonymous as possible. I know that we ran into some challenges before when it wasn't anonymous, or if you had to actually be seen going and like putting your sticker on that, and I know it made some people uncomfortable. The other thing too is with the fun comp, being a People's Choice Award, there's not an opportunity for feedback, and we're trying to bring feedback into everything that we do. We want to get that feedback, and we've talked about this many times. You want to be able to go up to your friend and say your beer sucks, and this is why it sucks. But that's a skill that like nobody has. It's just hard to do. So yeah, Brian wrote an app, Voti app, where Basically, people can scan one QR code and they've got it all on their phones while they're at the meetings. They're trying out the beers. They can vote anonymously, and they can also add feedback anonymously, to that beer that says, I pick up, funky dog vomit. Jason, what did you do to your cubs? So that's cool. I mean, if you don't have an app developer or something, like a Brian, hit him up at MichiganBrews.com. I'm sure he'd love to do contract work on the side.
Maybe I can actually clean this thing up and open source it or something so that other
You
clubs
should
can use it.
sell it.
I did really like using that for our cookie competition, which is kind of like, I would say, kind of like cereal adjacent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of works the same way. I know, since all you guys were in the cereal, I think all of you, or not cereal, the cookie one. It's not one that I was a part of. How'd you guys use your cookies?
I
Did you
dry
delete-
cookied.
You deleted them?
I dry
I
cookied.
I boiled and then spooned off the oil.
Mm.
'Cause
All right.
peanut butter chocolate cookies are a little oily.
I was gonna say, everything that we talked about in the cereal beer comp is like amplified.
Yeah.
And you're definitely gonna get fat out of cookies.
Yep.
And then I went back and put peanut butter and chocolate dips in this secondary to get the flavors back.
Like actual peanut butter or PB2?
PB2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actual peanut butter, you're back to scooping off
Right.
oil
Yeah,
again.
Yeah. We've been getting like on the terms of peanut butter. We've been getting like natural peanut butter for my son, and like you let that stuff sit in the jar, and there is like a good almost like 2 inches of oil in the top of that jar. It's nuts. Literally.
That's it. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's I see where this is going now. But no, I mean,
see, Jordan's a parent now, so he can tell dad jokes.
I was gonna say that was involuntary. It just that.
But I guess advice for clubs out there is do some fun shit, do some weird shit, get your membership engaged, get people to brew out of their comfort zone, as long as it's not a stupid randomized ingredient list, and you're fine. But I think we've had really great results, with all of our club comps other than the Iron Brew.
Yeah, I'd say the fact that we only had the one competition that didn't work out stellar means that we got a pretty decent batting average there.
Yeah,
No, that's fantastic.
And the Iron Brew, if we'd have been a bit more selective with the ingredients, that would have been a lot more successful. It's just the fact that we
the ingredients we ended up with kind of conflicted with each other. I mean, the cherry overpowered all the kiwi. I mean, you just couldn't juggle those two.
That's what that. Okay, all right. Well, I'm just gonna, just to say, like, are you really pushing the envelope enough if you're not failing every once in a while?
Yeah, but the thing is in that one in particular, where we identified 3 weird ingredients and said everybody had to go brew a beer with it, with those 3 ingredients. We had more members just say, you know what, I'm not going to do it. And so the turnout for that comp was really low, where I think you need to be able to offer them some options. Like you say, go brew a beer with cereal. There's a lot of options. Somebody can get inspired by something to want to engage in that.
That's true.
To dictate and say you have to brew a beer with these specific things, I think it limits it. And the same thing can be said, and I'm not trying to tip our hands but the Gang Brew. So Gang Brew is a competition that's done at Michigan Homebrew Fest amongst the attending clubs, And when it started, I want to say there were like 14 or 15 clubs that participated. And over the years, they keep adding weirder and weirder ingredients or restrictions and things like that. And you just got clubs saying, I'm not doing that. I'm not brewing a beer with 4 different fruits and spices and fermenting it with Pop-Tarts and then, dry hopping it with Pop-Tarts or whatever. It's just I think get to a point where people are just like, it's going to be a horrible thing. I'm not going to do it. So we get to choose gang beer next year, and we're trying to keep that in mind on how we can engage more people and more clubs and get it back up. Because I think last year, with all of the restrictions that were put on it, I think only 7 or 8 clubs participated.
Yeah. No, those judges were lucky.
I mean, there were some great things that were made. Like last year, had some amazing. Oh, we won that. That's right. Of course, it had some amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we kind of.
I still got that.
Go ahead.
Well, we also gimmicked the fuck out. Well, we completely
That's what I was
gimmicked
gonna
the fuck
say.
out of it as well. We made
put
what
it
was
in
objectively a good beer, full stop, and then we slushied it. So
yeah.
If
But
you,
on the other hand, the year before,
there for the
it was
winning.
really it was a mead the year before.
Yeah.
Which, granted, it was a really good mead. I voted for it,
Yeah.
but then their add-on to make it even harder was to have honey in it this year. So we had to figure
does
out.
that beg the question though that like do we want to like as an event to allow those like gimmicks and loopholes?
I mean, I don't think you want to restrict it out of there either. I think the whole thing is about bringing creativity and getting the club to do something fun together. And it's not, yes, we gimmicked it. We put it in a slushy machine, but
I wasn't asking the question because I'm on the side of restricting. I was just
yeah. But I would say I can defend the slushy machine and saying it has precedent. It has precedent.
Yeah.
In Homebrew Fest.
No, I think it was fantastic.
And so I don't want to limit the creativity, but I think I'll go back to my original point. I think that trying to force more and more and more creativity has driven people out of it, and now I think we've gone too far, and we need to take a step back,
reset it,
and open it more up to creativity instead of dictating. Which is the same thing, like I said, with the competitions. With cereal beer, we just said you have to go use a box of cereal. Go brew your beer with a box of cereal. Same thing we did with cookies. Go brew a beer with a box of cookies or a package of cookies. But with Iron Brew, we said you have to brew a beer with cherries, kiwis, and a nut. And you got people like, that's gross. I'm not doing it. And then last year, I don't even remember all of the rules. It was, your for gang beer, your beer had to be so much percentage of honey. It had to have, I think, fruits that corresponded to something, and then or it had to have packaged
Pop-Tarts. Name brand Pop-Tarts on top of it. Yeah. I think we got, not to let any cats out of bed. I think we've got a good ideas for some good restriction that still opens up a ton of creativity.
Yeah,
I agree.
So cereal beer, you're saying that?
No,
spoiler. Oh, awesome. I would hope somebody would do that some year. I know we don't want to do that this year, but it would be cool some year just to be like, go, let's take this cereal beer thing statewide.
Well, see, like the one thing where your cereal beer wouldn't do well, in the cookie beer, you had to be able to know what cookie was in it from the. And I mean that's probably the biggest reason I want. I don't think I had the best necessarily beer, but you drank mine and you immediately thought of tagalongs because it was a liquid tagalong.
Yep.
Whereas Lightfoot's Ginger Snaps was an excellent beer. Just didn't necessarily taste just like a ginger snap.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Shayna. Again, gimmicks only work if your brew is good. So, yeah, that's true too.
You can't polish a turd.
I mean, you
Actually, I think
can.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Mythbusters did
to
do
a
that.
point. To a point.
Well, what else we got? I'm only on beer 2.
Yeah, I'm only like a third of the way through beer number 2.
Ron, how's that pint of 16% going there?
Getting near the bottom.
Yeah.
If I can still walk, I think I'll go get a beer.
Thanks, Brian. Brian
Yeah.
Newcomb. Mythbusters proved you could polish a turd. That is.
I
have
realize
not
that was
seen-
an episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen that episode, but I'm gonna go look it up.
Yeah, I think
Actually,
they like went and got they
Reese's-
got like lion turds and all kind. They went to the zoo and got like all different kinds of shit and tried to polish it.
I should have a greetings card that says you can polish a turd, but it'll still be a turd. I don't know why I have that greetings card, but it's a Father's Day card. That's why I got it. So just as while my dad's not watching, because you're getting this for Father's Day next year, if I remember to send it.
Oh, at least your father didn't send it to you.
He also knows something I don't.
Sorry.
Oh,
Everybody's drinking.
no,
I need more booze.
Yeah. Another pint of 16%.
Yeah.
another. Yeah.
That's what we need. Well, we hit up our club competitions. We hit up brewing with cereal. I don't think there's anything else we have to hit on cereal beer. I think.
Use cereal, make a good beer.
Yeah.
Well, because
Yes.
Mark did bring that one can yesterday, didn't he, of cereal beer?
Yeah, I don't remember where that was from, but it was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was a nice bit, but it isn't something that you typically. Sorry, my dog's being
Well, that's fine.
a dog in the
No,
background.
I don't
Um,
know how many. Brian's the only one who ever has an animal on screen too, so it's welcome.
Well, my cat's wandering through the background sometimes.
Mhm.
Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
The random
I-
rabbit.
My
Well,
dogs
I-
have been at my feet most of the night. They're
I-
camera shy though.
I don't know how many cereal beers are typically out there, on the market. It seems to be, I just said I did see that article from some pro brewers talking about how they brewed with cereal, but
Yeah.
it's not the kind of thing you pick up on the shelf at Meijer.
I know some other craft breweries in Michigan have done it. I think HandMap had a Fruit Loop IPA. I think Ascension over in Detroit area has done a few.
Oh yeah,
I kind of, but they keep those on at their tap room though, right?
Yeah,
They're not
yeah. I
distributed.
mean, look, I know there's been some in cans. I know somebody's got a Fruity Pebble beer because I remember the Gaudy.
Yeah, it's
I was just
Bolero Short Brewing.
I was just thinking of that, like, I feel like there'd be some like legal marketing implications there, because like you're not supposed to be able to market certain things that are marketed towards kids towards like in the adult industries, if you will. So like, I don't know. I just like I'm curious to know like what the legality is around that. Being like, oh,
Right.
fruit, yeah, like as you said, like Fruity Pebbles double IPA, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
that might be a Michigan thing though, because I know that Founders got into trouble a few years ago with their breakfast out with the baby drinking the bowl of cereal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That
Because
guy.
the baby disappeared from the labels for about a year,
Yeah.
and then it came back. So I think it was like a new law that was passed or something, and Founders were pretty much, well, we've been doing this for 20 years, so now
Well, there
we're
was-
getting on our ass about it.
I remember like way back in the day, like early 90s that Camel cigarettes got in big trouble because their, Joe Camel or whatever was
Yeah,
too
cartoon
close to a
character.
cartoon, and they said it was like, oh well, this is marketing towards kids. So I didn't know if like that's stuck in my head for some reason. I don't know why, as I think I was probably 7 or some shit like that when that happened. But
Yeah. Although I know, like Brian just called out with this Hershey's beer. Technically, I think they got sued not just because they made a Hershey's beer, but because Yingling has a
called it Hershey's.
licensed Hershey beer. So there's
Yeah.
already a licensed Hershey beer.
I was gonna say they probably have a partnership
Yeah.
to do so.
Yeah. Yingling.
So,
Lingling has an arrangement, I believe, because they're both from the same rough area of the country, right?
yeah.
That's what you. Yeah, well, but before they were hawking cereal, the Flintstones used to hawk cigarettes. They'd have like ads right in the
Yep.
the original cartoons.
Huh.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, I don't remember that. That's wild. That's a big thing with breweries right now that I've been noticing is like IP infringement and stuff, and like I don't know, it annoys me, but like good for them, I guess, if it helps them sell their beer for a little bit. But man, I think that's more trouble than it's worth. Like people using drawings of like cartoons and like Captain Planet and shit, just like things from like our childhood, trying to sell beer with nostalgia, but like people own these copyrights and trademarks and things like that, and like
Exactly.
that's a dangerous
The thing with
line.
copyright is, and I know this
Well-
isn't a beer show, but if you don't defend all of your copyright infringement, then you really lose ground to defend any of
Right.
it. So they have
Yeah.
to.
Oh yeah, like Harley Davidson makes more money defending their copyrights than they do selling bikes.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Who-
they
who are
they
the-
make a
who are the-
small fortune off of the
Who's trying
marketing
to-
of their name.
Who's trying to do that? Who's trying to use their name? Who's, I guess, dumb enough to do that?
Probably anyone who knows the name.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, it
as-
is like the name. Yeah.
that's this is way off topic, but I think that's a product of like the the internet age that we're in, because like you can go to any fucking website and just take a screenshot of it and make a meme and like off you go. Like we're just kind of like used to finding something and appropriating it, any sort of digital content.
Oh yeah. Shayna brings up Etsy is like rampant.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
with that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like
Yep.
just awful.
Well,
Like
yeah,
Disney
it's-
things. Like, oh man.
It's the same if you go to any of the craft fairs or any of that stuff. There's so much stuff that, yeah, there'd be lawsuits out the yin yang.
You mean Ling Ling? Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
out the Yingling.
The Yingling.
But we'll see what happens in Beerland, I guess. Now that AI art is becoming a thing, maybe
Well,
maybe new, unique, free-ish for the breweries labels will be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised the Shams label made it.
and maybe
Yeah.
it's just too small for Coors to see or care or whatever. But yeah, it's totally like a Hams can for sure.
Or maybe it's just far enough away to where they're like, it's not.
I think so.
Yeah, but I've seen it, and like I was like,
Yeah.
I saw Tim drinking one the other day, and I thought it was a Hams before he told me it was a Shams. Actually, that might have been the last time he was on our show. I think he might have cracked a can for like the seltzer party. Maybe was he on for that?
I was drinking one on the seltzer party.
Okay, it was you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the cease and desist order came in, and
Yeah.
more.
yeah,
I'm good with it. But back to the cereal beer thing. Come out and check us out on January 14th, the Final Gravity in Kalamazoo. Keep an eye on Facebook and the Michigan Craft Beverage Week page, and support a local charity cause. I just want to make sure we say that before we go and I forget.
No, it's fine. I was making a list of stuff we have to recap at the end of the show anyway. So,
and adopt a dog if you want. Jeez, give a dog a home.
There will be some dogs there. I think. Hopefully.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
I'm working on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
If you need advice for running a weird ass homebrew competition, reach out to Keepers of Craft. I think we have a contact us thing on our website. If we don't, we should. I'll have to look at that.
You know, it's too bad we don't have like a information officer or
Yeah.
anybody who should like, we should know this.
Ryan, you should ask the guy that runs the website.
Yeah.
I'll let them know. But
Where's your mom tonight, dude?
Whoa, personal, Jason.
Oh, it is. I missed. I was going to say I saw
She-
Connie laying it down.
She is usually here.
Laying it down on Facebook the other day or earlier today. When Brian's trying to start shit with Shayna. But
It could have
yeah,
been
no.
between me and somebody else. You don't know that. So I'll ask you guys. All right. So and
Here we
everybody in
go.
chat.
Your mom is right.
So say it's like 6:20 p.m. and something's happening at 7:30 p.m. Do you say that that's happening an hour and 10 minutes from now, or is it happening 70 minutes from now?
A little over an hour from now.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
That's
basically
what
what
I'm
it is.
Isn't that what your mom
Yeah.
said?
It's about an
A
hour.
li- little over an hour. Yep. Yeah, there's Jaina.
She says, "Let it go."
So which
I'm
side,
just-
Brian?
Mom,
You're
Mom
on the-
said when the big hand is on the 6.
Brian,
All right.
Brian, obviously you're the one that says 70 minutes. Like
So let me ask you this: when you need to put in an hour and a half in the microwave, do you hit 130 or do you hit 90?
If you're
I hit
nuking
99
something for an
seconds.
hour and a half,
Brian, I don't set anything for even numbers.
Well, and I'd have to say that as a amateur cook, if I have to microwave anything for an hour and a half, I've failed in life.
No, for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
A minute and a half, I don't. I
Yeah,
have
Brandon
to
Edwards,
fuck my
yeah,
microwave. I
30
just
second
take
button 3
15.
times. That's efficient.
There,
Yeah, there you go. That's
Brian,
less buttons.
I'm
You just-
being efficient. 90 go is still one less button than 30. Well, if the 30 auto starts, then I guess
It
it's the
does.
same, so,
It does.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. No, that being said, Brent, like I got a toddler. If something's happening in an hour and 10 minutes and I'm not on my way out the door, I'm probably not going. That's
yeah, an hour and 10 minutes is first warning. Go find your socks.
basically. Yeah. It's just like, okay, we need to go potty. Where's your socks? Why do you only have one sock? Where did you get a spatula? Like
Does he still have a sock fixation? Like, didn't he use?
oh yeah, no, he likes to wear them on his hands.
Oh, great.
Yep.
They-
Mhm.
You should introduce him to gloves.
He loves gloves.
Okay.
Gloves.
All right. What else?
Boy, this is winding down.
So we've really devolved from that topic now. What else do we have to recap before we need to go?
Brewing beer with cereal does not necessarily make it taste like the cereal. It also doesn't necessarily not. You still have to brew a good beer to make it be a good beer. I don't know, man. Support your local breweries who help you do weird shit.
Yep. If you're not in a homebrew club, go find one. Quit being a
Yep.
loser.
You can join keepers from anywhere in the U.S. We'll let you. You just have to pay us.
Yep.
That's it.
I'll say yeah. If
Yeah,
there's-
And submit,
we
submit
take
competitions
PayPal.
underneath us.
And,
All right.
and thank you for watching, I guess.
Yeah, Ron, David, thanks for hanging out with us for a while, drinking
Yeah,
beer. and
seriously.
it was fun brewing. So we will. What show do we have coming up, Brian?
I have to get in touch with Blom coming up here for January because Brian Newcomb hooked me up with them, so we want to get them on. We are getting the Master Homebrewers program on soon.
Just
We
gonna
have
say
to
that.
reach that date. Yep. So I think both of those are coming in.
So if 89 means cereal, what does 90 mean?
Hmm.
Call back to the beginning of this.
Yeah.
I know that we're
More
also
topics
going to, I think we're going to reach out and try to get some of the folks from Urban Rest on. Brian and I will be
That's right.
at Urban Rest in early January serving a beer that we made there a few weeks back. So we'll have more information on that to come. But I think we'll get that posted up on our Facebook page. And if anybody's around Urban Rest, I think it's January 8th, come by and drink our beer and hang out. But we'll see if we can get Zach or somebody from Urban Rest to come on in the next couple of weeks and talk about that.
Which is the January Keepers meeting, so we have to talk about that too. But,
That's right. Alrighty, guys.
I will say we've
Thank
only
you very
got like 10 episodes till our 100th.
yeah, we'll
gotta start thinking of
we'll plan that out. If anybody has any ideas they want to contribute to the 100th, let us know. We've been floating a couple, but
It can't just be blackout on seltzers.
we already do that once a year. It doesn't need to be twice in 2 months.
All right.
No, as I say, just between everybody on the show, you have to get through 100 beers.
Yeah.
So you need
Please come join. Yeah.
99 bottles of beer on the wall.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Have a great one.